You're watching extras from the extension on Eagle Community Television. This show is brought to you by Carico Implement.
Hi, I'm Holly Dickman with the Ellis County Extension Office, and today I decided to talk about a few things that I've been getting some questions on, and certainly some things that people are starting to be working on and doing in their landscape, and one of those is definitely watering. We are in very dry conditions once again this spring, and unfortunately that's not a good situation when it comes to our landscape plants. And so with the warm weather we've been experiencing, everything's starting to leaf out, the trees are starting to bud and blossom, the grasses are starting to green up. So this is a really critical time to have some moisture there in the soil for those plants to grow properly. Now when you're watering your plants in your landscape, it's very critical to do it correctly, and so that's what I'm going to talk about today. When you're talking about trees, the majority of a tree's roots are within the top 12 to 18 inches. Many people don't realize that. They think tree roots go down deep, and it doesn't matter what size of tree, the majority of those roots are right there in that top 1.5 foot. So that's the area of the soil where you want to water. So when you're talking about a young tree like this, you know, it's always good to water the area underneath that drip line. Now with larger trees, those roots can go way beyond that drip line, but you want to make sure and wet as much of that root zone area as you can. So I know with big trees it's impossible to get everything, but the best you can is going to be better than nothing. When you water trees, you want to make sure to get that moisture down deep, at least that 1 to 1.5 feet. So I always get the question, well, how often do I water? How long do I water? Well, it really depends. It depends on a lot of different things. How fast is your water coming out of your hose or your sprinkler system? How fast or what kind of soil do you have? Really, the best way to determine how long to water is to go ahead and check your soil. And if you can probe down into the soil with, you know, a piece of rebar or a strong piece of wire or something that you can stick down into the soil and you can get it to go down at least 1 foot, then you know that that moisture has gotten down that deep. Now here we are at the park, and you know, I'm pushing with all my weight here trying to get this one to go down, and I can only probe down about, oh, I don't know, 8 to 10 inches. So there is some moisture there, but really this probably could be watered at this time to get that moisture down deep. Once you have that tree watered to the depth it needs to be, you want to make sure and let it dry out before you ever water it again. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make is that they overwater. You know, they think that it's drought conditions, those trees need more and more water. Not the case. That can be damaging to your tree roots. So make sure you let those soils dry out some before you ever water again. Once again, you have to determine when that is just by checking the soil, by probing or with your fingers, feel it, see what it feels like. When we're talking about turf grass, same concept, deep and not very often. You know, we're sitting on some tall fescue right here. This is a cool season grass, certainly needs some water at this time of year because this is when it likes to grow. And so we want to encourage those roots to go nice and deep. So with turf grasses, typically we recommend that you get that moisture down at least 6 to 8 inches. And so once again, how long does that take? How far or how much water should you apply? It depends on what you're probing. So I tested this earlier just to see, and it's extremely compacted, but it is also pretty dry, and I can only get this down about 3 inches max. So that's an indication that this needs some water, or if you have real compacted soils, you might need to consider aeration to help relieve some of that compaction. So there's lots of key elements when it goes into watering. It's not as simple as some people think. You really do need to put some thought into how you're watering. Make sure you water deep with anything that you're watering, and then let it dry out before you ever water again. You should not be watering every single day or every other day on any type of plant, regardless of whether it's cool season, warm season, trees, flowers, vegetables, what have you. So if you have questions about watering or general maintenance and care on your landscape plants, don't hesitate to contact your local extension office for more information.
You're watching extras from the extension on Eagle Community Television. This show is brought to you by Carico Implement.
Spring is here, and that means it's time to come out and visit Carico Implement in Hays, Kansas for all your lawn care needs. We stock and sell the full line of John Deere riding lawn equipment, along with Honda walk-behind mowers and generators. We also offer the full lineup of steel power products. If your project requires even more muscle, check out our full lineup of John Deere compact tractors and skid loaders. And don't forget, we have the parts and services to keep you up and running all spring long. So whatever your spring lawn care and maintenance needs are, come on out to Carrico Implement for a solution that fits.